to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. We got a lot to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. So it's time to crush.
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. And on this incredible Saturday, we're doing Xbox versus PlayStation and community versus community. If you're an Xbox lover, then you're here, and I want you to leave a comment saying that I support Xbox down with this PlayStation. And if you're a PlayStation person, I want you to let people know that you have the best community and you're fighting for your platform. Even though this is Xbox Frontline News, I want to see the smoke. I'm here for all the smoke. The console world fuels all this fun. But again, this is the weekend, and you members get it first. I'm going to give a shout out to you members for getting this first, and subs, you will get it later. Check it out later, tomorrow, or on sometime Monday. It'll happen for you. But this is the PlayStation video, and I do want you guys to check it out, see it, see the sarcasm, see the fun. This is a fun take on all the stuff that I talk about. You guys want something different? Well, the King is here to oblige. Let's check it out. Let's see if it works. Because last week, with the two videos last week, one was PlayStation, one was Xbox, y'all both came out neck and neck. 2,000 views each. Dead tie. Let's see if this weekend yields the same results. PlayStation fans are demanding more from the PlayStation Store. And this is brought to you by the Comic Book. PlayStation fans demand more PlayStation Store improvements ahead of the PlayStation 6 all-digital ecosystem. And this is something that should be on the former front of your lobe. You should want more from the PlayStation Store as a consumer. You should demand more from PlayStation. PlayStation fans are demanding that Sony make some big improvements to the PlayStation Store before it makes its shift to an all-digital ecosystem with the arrival of whatever the next iteration of the PlayStation would be. Despite having been around since the PlayStation 3 era, the PlayStation Store still lacks a number of prominent features that are seen in competing digital markets. While these missing features have been a point of contention for years, many fans now are demanding more than ever that action be taken before January 2028. For clarification, January 2028 is the day they stop physical media. An extension ahead on Reddit, PlayStation users are commensurate about the number of issues that the PlayStation Store still has. The author of the thread kicked off this series of complaints by sharing their own experience by purchasing a game that they didn't end up enjoying on the PlayStation Store recently. Despite having played the game for only about an hour, PlayStation wouldn't allow the user a refund for the title upon request. The user complained that such a refund will be commonplace on Steam and Xbox, but PlayStation still hasn't implemented anything similar. Others on the thread went on to mention that the PlayStation Store still doesn't have a gifting feature, which will allow users more easily to buy games for friends and families and members. Cart limits, wallet limits, and the inability to change regions were all cited as lingering problems on the marketplace as well. Naturally, that led for some talk about how these missing features are made all the worse when considered that PlayStation is about to put a larger emphasis on the PlayStation Store beginning in January 2028. With physical games on the PlayStation platforms poised to be done away with the start of that epic year, it will lead to PlayStation Store being the primary way in which games can be downloaded, purchased, moving forward. As such, if PlayStation is going to move its business in this direction, many argued that it needs to improve its protections for the consumers. This is why I'm against all digital PlayStation, said one reply on Reddit. We need more consumer rights on par with Steam and Xbox. I feel your pain. I'm here as a KNN news reporter, bringing you the King's News Network information. This is sure, and I mean sure, to rock PlayStation Nation. Will PlayStation Nation split in two? What would you do? What is your idea on this subject? And what would you change in the PlayStation Store once PlayStation goes all digital? It's not if, it's when. And that train has left the building. If you are against ads inside your video games in the beginning, on your loading screens, or dare I say, as soon as you boot up your console, well, Sony is going to push harder in that direction. This is brought to you by DigiDay and Seb Joseph. Sony is scaling up its PlayStation advertising ambitions as they consider a completely all-digital future with the ability to monetize every aspect of their digital soul. PlayStation is focusing on getting as much money out of the real estate of the PlayStation storefront, the PlayStation ecosystem, and any screen that has a PlayStation theme. PlayStation is looking for that green. Gaming next battleground isn't consoles or subscriptions, it's ad budgets. Electronic Arts and Xbox have already started chasing markets. Now, Sony is lining up to do the same for their PlayStation. That's the read anyway. If a string of open roles at the division that sells PlayStation ads inventory is any indication, Sony is on the postings of the Sony Interactive Entertainment Media Solution teams are advertising specifically. They're looking for campaign advertisers so they can get the markets that they need for the eyes that they want them to see. That was wild crazy. The clearest signal of the global directing posting for the client partnerships, which went up in mid-July 2026 and remains live as of this writing, is tasking with the defining and driving global strategy, structure, and performance of Sony Interactive Entertainment Media Solution Client Partnership Sales Organization. The mandate spans the PlayStation ecosystem and all its global marketing across the programmatic, FAST, and the CTVs, as well as its emergent ad solution. In simple terms, the role means to scale a function, which is usually that shows up right before a platform pushes harder on monetization. We have seen consoles drop, sales numbers aren't up, games are stagnant. PlayStation needs this money, and they're going to start selling and doing anything strange for some change. Advertisers are needing that 93 million shipped consoles. I don't know how many is on, but we do know that PlayStation is the place that all the casuals will be. And with Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out, what greater time than to advertise yourself? If you are against this, please leave a comment down below so I can know if you're down for advertisements in your PlayStation, if you want advertisements in your games, what advertisements make sense for you, what would you tolerate, and would you pay a little bit more not to see any advertisements at your PlayStation store? Let me know. Inquiring minds want to know. The king wants to know. This is brought to you by the Gaming Bible and Jack Marsh. PlayStation 6 RAM rolls won't matter as GTA boss claims, and that's Strauss Zelnick, that streaming will overtake $1,000 consoles. Take-Two claims that the console shortage is bad for business, but more alternatives are coming within the next 3 years. Having always been favored by Grand Theft Auto bosses, PlayStation looming console woes might be catastrophic for Sony as the Take-Two Interactive CEO claims streaming is the future for the series. Grand Theft Auto 6 as the long touted to be the first PlayStation 6 game, but misaligned release windows and troublesome next-gen console development time has seen the blockbuster game release first on its PlayStation 5. With the PlayStation 5 Pro being dubbed the best place to enjoy Grand Theft Auto 6 by the marketing partners of Rockstar, Take-Two, it seems, is predicting the future. Streaming will be the norm in 3 years. Where consoles are pushed far out of reach, streaming will become the norm. Where consoles are over $1,000. If you want to have one of those pricey premium consoles, well, you need to buck up. And PlayStation is right in line with their business partners over at Rockstar, with turning all physical media distribution plants and manufacturing plants into AI reproduction servers. PlayStation is poised to start streaming like no other. Xbox, Steam is already there. PlayStation is right around the corner. 2028, the streaming future that Strauss Zelnick and Sony believes in is right around the corner. So get ready to get your PlayStation Portal and get your streaming on, because again, streaming is the future. Strauss Zelnick believes so, and Sony endorses this wholeheartedly. I want to know in the comments, where do you stand when it comes to these controversial takes? I know around now it's not easy being a PlayStation supporter. It seems like you're stepping on rakes every day, and it's not you, it's the company. And you casuals don't know anything that I'm talking about, but I'm talking about you hardcore people. The people that's in the know, the people that's fighting for physical versus digital, that lost that battle. It was a first round knockout. It was like a Mike Tyson fight in his prime. You just got laid out, 93 seconds, it was over. It was a Michael Spinks type of situation for you. And as you're picking yourself off the floor, standing in with a snot bubble in your nose and a puddle of piss, I'm realizing for the first time, you was never gonna ever win that fight. You see, with Strauss Zelnick talking about a digital future, that man has looked past digital and looked only to streaming. Understand, your biggest fight was physical versus digital, or you're gonna scream like a baby when Strauss and his team get a hold of all that streaming. Understand, I've told you that the plans from these CEOs was for you to own absolutely nothing and to want everything, but only be able to afford streaming. When they totally control you, you own absolutely nothing. You will see the truth. But PlayStation is in lockstep with this vision. With them shutting down their PlayStation disc manufacturing plants and converting them to servers so they can house all the AI infrastructure to push streaming as the new frontier, PlayStation is poised to be in position for the next iteration of how gaming will be consumed. I want to know below if this is something that you agree with, if this is something that you're fighting. You see, because Xbox has had xCloud for a long time, and they have integrated the cloud streaming into every aspect of the tiers over at Game Pass. With PlayStation offering streaming for a lot of games, their quality hasn't been up to snuff. With the best streaming coming from Nvidia, with Xbox coming close behind, PlayStation, and a far third. I don't even consider Nintendo even in the running. Well, this is Xbox Frontline News with the PlayStation twist. I know that you guys can't stand this because I'm going to say something that you can't do no matter how bad you support. I want you to go with Gamers Game and Winners Win. And I want you to try to play the Game Pass, but you can't. You can only play the PlayStation Plus, and nobody's playing the PlayStation Plus.
You don't start things and not finish them. You don't quit. There's nothing that comes out of quitting besides knowing that you didn't finish. We finish everything. You start it, finish it. If you're going to do it to try and be the best. Not be better than other people, be the best for you.